Lasaxia, the complete Listen, this is probably the hardest boss in the whole game. With everything I'm going to explain in this part of the video, she will still be difficult. You will still die a few times and a few times over. Unless you've beaten her before, you understand her moves, or you've just been facing her for a very long time, so you kind of know what to expect. If this is your first time, buckle up, because she is so difficult. So before we begin, there are a few things that I believe you need or you should have. As she is human or a humanoid boss, she is weak to acid. Personally, I would suggest using the crystal acid spear, and any handle you put on it is good as long as it has some range to it. If you are parrying her, you don't need much except for this weapon and the shield, the Aegis shield. If you are more dodge focused, then there's something that I genuinely implore you to get, and that is this specific handle right here, or any other handle that has this specific skill on it. Also, this item right here is perfect to have. It completely gets rid of any electric or shock status, so it stops your Fable from being eaten away. Another item that I think is very important to have is the Legion's magazine, just in case you run out of Legion from using your shield. Okay, so first things first, we are looking at this charge attack that she does right here. She normally does it as soon as you enter into the boss room, but she can do this move at any other given point around the first phase of her fight. The indication that she's about to attack and you should perfect parry this move is when she stops charging and she kind of goes lower to swing her weapon. Around the point when she stops charging and starts trying to hit you is probably the best time to perfect parry the move. If you miss the perfect parry, you'll just block it, which is outright better than her hitting you and you flying in the air. It does a lot of damage. If you are dodge focused, the same principle applies, except this time wait until she's about to start attacking, dodge at the last moment, but this time dodge towards her. She'll push you backwards, but that gives you enough time to charge attack her. With this specific move, you have to be careful, because if you dodge wrongly and you somehow end up behind her, she will always follow up with this move, which is 2 slams and a red attack. Now the move is easily dodged, but this is why I say to be careful, because you can be caught off guard with it. If she does do it, just run away from her, wait for her to finish her animation, then go back to her and give her a couple charge attacks, maybe one if you have a big weapon. Another move that she is most likely to do as soon as you enter into the boss room is this move right here, where she runs up to you and slams a sword on the ground, creating an explosion of electricity. Honestly, I wouldn't bother parrying this one. Just dodge when she gets to you, then run behind her and give her a charge attack. The next move we are looking at is this double swing into a heavy slam, followed by some streaks of lightning on the floor. From the moment you see her scratching her weapon on the floor, it's around about 2 seconds for the first perfect parry. The second one is pretty instant, but the third one is around about 3 seconds straight after the second attack. Dodge towards her to avoid the lightning attack on the floor. If you are dodging, disengage from her completely and then run towards her left or right to avoid the streak on the floor and give her a charge attack before she stands up. This right here is probably her most devastating move in phase 1. If she catches you with this, she never finishes the entire combo before your health depletes. Kind of like Lies of P's version of Melania's waterfowl dance from Elden Ring, this move is absolutely nuts. So she does this move in a sequence. The first one is 1 hit, the second one is 3 hits, the third one is 6 hits, and the fourth one is 3 hits, with the last 2 hits being 2 spins on the ground. From the moment you see her enter into this stance is about 2 seconds for the first perfect parry. There's around about 2 seconds from the first hit into the second hit, which begins the second sequence of 3 hits. It's also around about 2 seconds from the last move of the second sequence to the first move of the third sequence. To parry the 3 hits and the 6 hits, it's a matter of understanding the tempo of the move. The way I learned to parry this combo is to constantly repeat the move in my head. Then as time went by, I turned the move into sound, repeating that same sound every time in my head. I was able to translate it into pressing L1 where the sound should be. For instance, it sounds silly, but this is the sequence in my head. Bat, 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 bat. Once you get that down, just press your parry button where the baps should be. If you are more dodge focused, just disengage completely. You can disengage from her and just wait until she finishes the entire animation. Now she does follow you as she does this move, so make sure you have enough space behind you to be able to run. If she points her weapon at you in this manner, she's going into a 3-hit combo, which is also a grab attack. I usually dodge the first 2 and then parry the third one. By parrying the third one, it staggers her. You You may not be close enough to punish that third move, but at least you get the satisfaction of parrying her. If you do wish to parry her, it's about 3 seconds after the second strike. Now she does have a faster version of this exact same move, and it does the same thing except she doesn't do the pose at the beginning. Be careful of this move because it doesn't do that much damage, but it will give you a shock status. But you should have the item to counter that, so you should be alright. Another thing to note is that if you dodge the fast attack correctly and you punish her quickly, she will follow up with a kick and a sword poke. Now if you're as lucky as I am, she does it 3 times in a row. Throughout my experience of parrying her, she has never combined these two moves together, which are the grab attack and then the kick into the sword poke. But if she does it to you while you're parrying, I do apologize. You can just dodge or perfect parry if you're able to. Next on the list is this move right here, where she drags her sword on the ground in the shape of a crescent moon, leaving behind electric charges that explode after a while. I've always found it best to go inside the crescent moon so I can hit her as she does this move. If she sticks her sword in the air like this, it means she is about to hit you with 2 more attacks. Both these attacks are easily dodged and punishable, just don't get too greedy. If you are parrying, from the moment she raises her sword up, it's about 3.5 seconds for the first perfect parry. It's about 3.5 to 4 seconds for the second one because she charges it up. If you see her swing her sword backwards like this, one of 2 things are about to happen. She's either gonna slam once into a huge AoE effect and then slam down again as a red attack for another explosion of electricity. Wait until she finishes the entire animation, then go in and give her some attacks. The other thing that will happen is she will keep stomping the ground with her weapon as she walks towards you. Now it gets increasingly faster, with the last one being a red attack. I don't bother parrying this move either. I legit just disengage completely and wait for her to finish it off. After she's done a red attack, I go in and charge attack her or just give her a couple hits. Be mindful though, because she can do this attack at any given moment in time. I will just completely disengage and wait for her to finish the entire animation. If you're able to, get in there, get a charge attack or get a couple hits in, it's really good for damage. This is obviously after the entire animation is done, not any time before or during. The final move we're taking a look at in this first phase is this 4-piece combo right here. This is the slowest combo in her arsenal and thus being the easiest to parry. Once you see her raise her weapon, count 2 seconds for the first perfect parry. From there, it's about 4 seconds for the second perfect parry, 2 seconds for this one, and about 4.5 to 5 seconds for the red attack. If you are dodging her, completely disengage, wait for her to finish the entire animation, then go in there and give her a charge attack. And that is all of her attacks from phase 1. At this point in time, it's just going to be constant rinse and repeat of her moves, and now you know which ones she's going to use and you know what to do to prepare for them. The best thing you can do is to not use as many of the pulse cells as you can, because the more you can keep for second phase, the better for you. Also, try your best to not use the shield as much as possible, because as much legion as you have for second phase, the better. Now, I don't know how accurate this will be for you, but for me personally, when I was parrying her, it took around about 12 perfect parries to get the first white outline around the health bar. Now, as I always say, it might be more for you, it might be less, but I think around about 12 is a perfect number. Now, please correct me in the comments below if I'm wrong, but I think there is a P organ that allows you to be able to parry more effectively. Now, I'm not too certain if this affects the number of parries that she requires to get the first white outline around the health bar. If that do be the case, then it could be either or, might be slightly higher than 12, maybe even 20, or it could be less. I'm not too sure, but I got around about 12. Either way though, once you see the white outline around the health bar, wait until you are able to charge attack her to break her stance. Once you've broken her stance, she does try to attack you with one sword swipe, so get out of the way for that. Once she's done that, charge attack her a second time before doing the repost animation. Feel free to charge attack her one more time before she stands up. You should now be in phase 2. Yes, I know I'm dodging the lightning attacks. You're supposed to parry them and send them back at her, but this character's focused on dodging. I just wanted to do it to show people it's okay to dodge it. But yes, don't worry, I do parry them as much as I can in my main character, or at least this level 1 character. Speaking of parrying them, I feel like these lightning bolts are very random. There are always 6 lightning bolts, but I feel like their speed always changes. Sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's fast. It's really difficult to gauge when to parry them, or at least to calculate the best time to do so. But hey, at least you know dodging is an option. Do you remember this handle that I told you needed at the start of this section of the video? Well, this is the perfect place it comes in handy, because you can use that Fable art to completely nullify her stomp. Once you've nullified it, you have enough time for 2 charged attacks, which is amazing and critical. The amazing thing about this weapon art or this ability is that you don't have to get the timing right. It just needs to be close enough to be able to work. So I probably should have mentioned this at the start of the video, but it goes without saying, try to save your Fable. It'll really help you in phase 2. Now when it comes to actually parrying the stomp, I can't lie to you, this is the one move that I cannot explain. The best thing that I can say is it's a feeling. I had to just feel it until I got it right. So there's no way for me to explain to you how to parry this. So your best bet is to use the handle that I showed you previously. So she does this thing where she'll run beside you, jump in the air, and then hit you with the sword, then the shield, or vice versa. I've noticed she has 2 versions of this same move, one where her weapon is cloaked in lightning and the other when it isn't. I think the difference between the two is that when her weapon is cloaked in lightning, what follows next is an in-air, very fast thrust attack. Whereas if her weapon is not cloaked in lightning, the next move that follows is a stronger version of the same move she does. From the moment she stops running and she jumps, count 2 seconds for the first perfect parry. The second move is pretty instant, so press your parry button twice. If you're dodging, I've noticed you can perfectly time one dodge to evade both moves, even if she does the move twice like here. As for all her red attacks, it doesn't matter which one, you've got 2 options. You can either use a shield to completely nullify the attack, or you can use the weapon handle that I told you about at the start of the video for that ultimate guard. Lasaxia has 6 red attacks in total in her phase 2. Only 5 of them do ridiculous damage if you don't block them or perfect parry them. And every single one of these attacks can be completely taken care of either by using the ultimate guard or by using the shield. The only thing about these 2 methods is you have to use them exactly when the move is about to start. You don't have to be perfectly right in your timing, but you need to use them slightly before the move starts. That way you are in or within the window for you to be able to ultimate guard or nullify the move. The only red attack I wouldn't worry about is this one right here, because as soon as you see her spin around, you could run away from her. Now she does slam her sword on the ground and she sets out a stream of electricity that goes completely around her. So this time, if you're close by, dodge into her or just completely run away. Lasaxia also has a few jump attacks. This one where she sustains herself in the air, then slams down with pools of electricity around her that explode. This one where she throws electricity at you, sometimes 2. This one where she jumps, spins, and lands quickly, causing an explosion where she hits a blade on the floor. With this first one, wait around about 5 seconds as she's in the air and then dodge when she lands. You should end up behind her. Give her a charge attack before she can move. With this one, as soon as she throws the electricity, it is instant. So I say about 2 or 3 seconds from the moment she jumps to parry the red ball of lightning back at her. If she throws 2 at you, the second one is usually 2 seconds after the first one. With this one, as soon as you see her landing, dodge behind her. If you end up behind her, charge attack her before she stands up. If you didn't, not a problem at all. It's best to move away and get ready for her next attack. Finally, we have this move where she sends 2 AoEs along the ground at you. She normally follows up with a very high speed attack. You can easily dodge all 3 hits and then punish her right afterwards. This move heavily depends on how far away she is from you, making it very difficult to time when it's best to dodge or it's best to parry. You can easily see the shockwaves on the ground coming towards you, but you might be thrown off by the move that follows. So I'd say your best bet is to either dodge all 3 moves or to use a shield to help you for the 3rd move. Keep in mind, if Lasaxia is guarding and you try to hit her, she will shield bash you and then kick you. She also frequently does these 3 swipes right here, which in all honesty, I would say dodging is far better than parrying. This is because when parrying, she can end up behind you and hit you. The parry does not work if the enemy's behind you in Lies of P. You can definitely turn around and parry her if you are a seasoned player, but for everybody else, it's a little unrealistic to always remember to do so in the heat of the moment. So I would say dodging is the most reliable way to deal with these combos. Honestly, throughout this fight, it's not going to be a perfect one unless you're a seasoned player. You are always going to be hit. She is too fast and a lot of her moves you can't predict properly, but that's okay. For this fight, especially second phase, you really have to pace yourself, breathe, and spend more time punishing her than being aggressive. If she hits you once, don't panic, just wait for the next opportunity to heal rather than trying to heal when she's trying to hit you. One more thing to note about Lasaxia's phase 2 is that when she gets the white outline around her health bar, she protects herself with her shield. Your attacks or your throwables won't do anything. You kinda have to wait until when she is not guarding to be able to charge attack her and break her posture. Once you've done this, run away from her because she tries to hit you with 2 swipes and a huge AoE. Charge attack her a second time and then go go for the visceral attack. Once you've done the visceral attack, take a step back and wait for her next move. There's a couple moves that I missed. One of them is this one right here where it's 3 shield bashes. She rarely does this one, but if she does, I run away from the first 2 and use the shield for the third one. This is the second one right here, which is also very rare for her to do. She charges herself with electricity and then rushes at you 3 times with a shield bash, with the third one being a red attack. Don't do what I did here. Instead, dodge the first 2 and then use the shield for the third one. Or you can use the ultimate guard like I mentioned earlier. And that is everything you need to know for Lasaxia phase 1 and phase 2. Honestly, she is a very difficult boss, so don't worry if you keep dying as long as you're learning, and I hope this video does help you out in terms of what to do with her moves. Try your best to not panic, do not be greedy, focus more on punishing her than being aggressive, and you should be okay.